All right. I got a fun one today. I've got my buddy Ben Dettamanti on today on the Tricer podcast. If you don't know Ben, he's shed crazy on Instagram and YouTube and just an all around just awesome dude, a fun dude. Ben, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Stoked to be here.
Yeah, man. So I've been like kind of in this thing right now. Like as I'm getting older, I'm realizing what makes me happy in life, right? Like I used to like want to work really. I still work really hard, right? Like I used to, but like I was just almost like working to live rather than living to work instead of working to live, right?
Yeah.
And the last 6 months, I quit my old job and I've been doing Tricer. And it's just like I feel like I have so much freedom. It feels great, right? And then like being out in the hills this year, like with my kids and just out there where you literally just have like a tent, right? A tent and a
Mhm.
backpack. And I'm like, this is where I'm happiest,
Yeah.
right? And like, I feel like my quality of life has gotten so much better since I kind of made some of these decisions to like walk away from some money and walk away from some other things and just focus on what I feel like, I was created to do. And I think you kind of epitomize that. Like you've kind of made some decisions in your life to live a life that you want to live, a life that people were envious of, right? Like I went on a hunt this year with this guy named Mike Riley, and he's a mountain climber, and he like lives in his van. I don't know if you heard of Mike. This guy's super
Uh-uh.
sick. He like literally, he's like 27 years old. He's been living in his van since he was 19. Is traveling the world hunting, and I'm like, dude, I worked 20 years to get to where you are now.
Yeah.
He just did it, right? And
Right.
so he's living the dream. So, dude, like, let's talk about that. Let's talk about like what I'm sure this podcast will evolve, but I kind of want to talk about like what your opinions are on like quality of life and doing what you love.
Yeah. Well, I've always been a lousy employee. I mean, like my whole life, dude. I was just in trouble at work and not a good employee, and it was a lot of things. And the thing that bothered me the most about having jobs and working for people was just that, like, I just I just didn't like not being in charge of my own life. And I
Mm-hmm.
felt like when I worked for other people in any capacity, that's what it was. And so then I thought, oh, I guess I need to be in a career field that like gives me the autonomy to do what I want. At least I'll get like, so I started trying to be like a firefighter paramedic, and I thought I can work, a 48-96 or a couple days off, a couple days on. That'll give me enough free time. And as I
Mm-hmm.
got into that, I just kind of realized it was more of the same, like it's just you're always under somebody's thumb. You're always living somebody else's idea of what you should be doing. And that's what I always struggle the most with. So for me, the best thing I can do for my happiness is be in charge of my own time. And like you said, I've turned down a lot of money. I've turned down a lot of opportunities that would have been definitely more lucrative or maybe more prestigious in the eyes of the world to just say, no, the most important thing to me is my freedom. And it's funny too, because like I have this thing. I have a YouTube channel that I never post on, but I always have the idea I'm going to post on it. It's called the Half Nomad, and that's what I always feel, because I feel like half of me is like I need to be able to be gone as much as I need to be gone. I need to be able to go when I need to go and go out and have these adventures and see these places. But then I also have a family. I have a wife and I have kids,
Yeah.
and I have to be able to come home to that. That's a huge part of my happiness, is to be able to see them and spend time with them and help them be a dad and like be able to teach them about the outdoors. So I always feel like I'm torn between the two. Like I go until I can't stand to be gone anymore, and then I come home till I can't stand to be home anymore. And that's pretty much how I live my life. I'm either in or out, gone, and I'm very lucky to have a family that falls into that lifestyle, and it's all they've really known. So I mean, that's what we do. I'm half nomad. I'm half homeless.
Yeah, man. And I've been struggling with that too, honestly, like with my wife and my kids, because like I'm home. Like December is kind of like an off month for me. I'm kind of home. And
Mm.
I kind of feel like, I mean, I should be working right now. What should I be doing? Because like the hunts are kind of over for me. And I'm like
Yeah.
home with them. We went to SeaWorld today. Like last week, I went ice skating with my kids. Like we went to the desert for like, a bunch, like 10 days. Um, but then like January comes around and I'm going to be gone like 3 weekends. And February, I'm gone like almost all of February. It shows.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got a buffalo hunt, my father-in-law, and just a bunch, it's just like constantly gone. So like there's this weird balance there. And like telling your wife, like, well, I was home for 2 weeks. For some reason it doesn't compute the same way. Like there's not like this, like, it's like hard to balance. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's hard to balance that.
Yeah.
Um, and honestly, with me, like the biggest issue I run into being gone is like when the kids start fighting, right? Like the teenagers
Right.
start going at it. Like that's when I'll tell the teenagers, like, dude, if I'm getting yelled at, like it's because of you. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna get it
Right.
even worse when I get back. So like, how do you balance that? Because like I'm doing my best. Like we're gonna live in Hawaii for a month next year, like from like March to April. I'm like I'm just gonna hunt over there and do just a bunch of filming and use the
Sweet.
tripods and try and bring them along on that. I am trying to include them in like some of the shows with me and stuff. But it is a hard balance. Like I thought, like oh I'm home a lot, but like when you're gone, I mean I've probably been gone. I think I was in the field 60 days hunting this year, not including all the shows and everything. So I've probably been gone almost 100 days this year. You know,
Yeah.
like how do you balance that?
It's tough, man. You have to have the right partner. And like I think that's the biggest place that guys find that they're not able to make it work is that like my wife's a gangster, dude. And like
Hmm.
she like she is 100% willing to handle anything that comes up on her own. And then at the same time, she's willing to hand over the reins when I get home. And so that's like a rare personality trait. And it wouldn't work. I mean, without her being able to simultaneously be a single parent for weeks at a time and then co-parent when I'm home. And I think, I mean, I have to give her the credit on that because I want to still be the dad when I come home. You know, I want to be in charge, but like I'm not under any illusion. Like this ship doesn't run the same when I'm not here. And I
Yeah.
have to also be fine with being like she's doing a good job and letting her take the reins when I'm not here and saying if she's going to be there running everything and running the show, then I'm just going to have to say, okay, that's how we're going to do things. And it's not always perfect. Like we have conflicts about it, but I feel like we've just been doing it long enough now that there's an expectation when I'm home and it might be a little more relaxed when I'm gone. Maybe it's not, I don't know, but it's just that balance is everything.
How many kids do you guys have?
We have three boys. So,
Three boys. Yeah. And how old are they?
they are 6, 9 and 10. So they all just had birthdays. So I'm still remembering, but yep,
Gotcha.
6,
So
9
you're
and 10.
almost to the point. You haven't got to teenage years yet. So you're almost getting there.
Yeah, yeah. See, and
I
I
feel
don't
like
know, man. It's going to be totally different when we hit those ages.
yeah, dude, like my 18-year-old, he's going off to like we're sending him off to do like a Christian missionary school for 6 months. Like he's leaving in
Sweet.
January, and I'm kind of like, yeah, I'm excited for you to go. Like I think you need this. Like I'm get you out of that
Yeah.
house, dude. Have you go
Give
do
your
this thing?
mom a break.
Give your mom a break. You know what I mean? Because like, yeah, because they're like, it's weird because what happens is like they're becoming men, right? So like your boys, you're gone. So you like because there is this like healthy fear of dad, right? Like, but
Right.
as they become like as these guys start becoming men, like they're kind of like trying to test the waters and trying to push a little with mom a little more, and like it you could definitely see like I think the boys start like kind of separating from their mom a little bit too as they get older, right?
Hmm.
But yeah, dude, like there's just something happens like when they hit puberty around 12, dude, the hormones are kicking in. Like no one cries more than a 12-year-old boy, I swear, you
Yeah.
know. And but yeah, I mean, I have great kids, but it's just yeah, sometimes that can be a little bit hard when we're not here. Just I'm not here to smack them upside the head sometimes, and they're kind of pushing the limits a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. It's I can see that changing more and more, and like one of the biggest struggles for me is trying to figure out like how do I incorporate them more, right? How do I
Hmm.
bring them with me, and when's it time to say, okay, it's all right if you come with me and miss school for a few days and let's go do this hunt together. And that's one of the things I like about what you do, man. I look up to about you is I see you out there with your kids constantly, and it
Hmm.
reminds me to be like, dude, just take them with you. It's not that big of a deal because they love it, but the way that they learn to love it and grow to love it is just by being there. That's where my love of the outdoors came from, is from going with my dad and always wanting to hunt more. So I think that that's a big part of what I want to do over the next several years.
Yeah, one of the best things we did was like homeschool. We've been homeschooling since like before it was cool. So we've homeschooled our kids since for like 12 years, right? Like before COVID, we've been homeschooling since like
Oh
2000 and
geez,
yeah,
yeah.
we're OGs homeschools, right? And it's given us the freedom to do stuff people can't do, right? Like we're going to move to Hawaii for a month. Like that's freaking dope, right? With our kids and
Yeah.
have that experience. Um, but yeah, like this year we ended up doing of all. I think I filmed 6 hunts so far this year, and three of them were with my kids. Right, like I flew my 11-year-old. I
That's
kind of
awesome.
picked the hunts, right? So like I flew my 11-year-old to Wyoming to go hunt antelope because that's an easy hunt, and then my boys both had
Hmm.
deer tags, right? And we did those hunts with them. So yeah, those are like, and you know it. Like there's nothing more foundational for me than like, hey, get in the truck with me for 12 hours. We live in San Diego, so coming over to Colorado is a 16-hour drive, right? Like sit in the truck with me for
Yeah.
16 hours and not only listen to some old country music and some podcasts, but also talking about life and what you're going through and what I expect of you. And like, you just learn, like, I think with parenting, so much more stuff is caught than taught, right? Like if I'm just telling them how
Right.
to do things rather than having them see me do things, like, and the shocking thing, dude, is like my 16-year-old shot that big buck this year over there by you guys, and
Yeah.
dude, he outglassed me like 10-1 on that hunt. Like he
Mm.
kicked my butt. I found that buck that he killed, but dude, that kid, like, he can hunt. And I'm like, dude, like, wow, you've picked this up. Like, it's cool to see him finally not looking like through the backside of the binoculars. You know what I mean? Like, because when they're
Right.
little,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? They're annoying, right? You're out there and they're looking through the binoculars, they're tired, they're wet. It's just like, you're trying
Yep.
to
Making
put
noise.
bags over their shoes because you don't want to buy them boots because boots are $200 and you don't want to buy 10-year-old boots,
Right.
Um,
Yep.
cool thing is now I'm passing my stuff down to my kids, which is nice because now they're getting big enough to do that. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, it is more stuff's caught than taught. Getting the kids out there with you is just, it's so fun. And I've really used that to my advantage. My wife's kind of catching on to it. Like, hey, man, like I'm taking the boy with me. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So taking the kid out and doing it. But yeah, man, bringing the kids out is just, there's nothing better, man. Like, and like, I'll tell you right now, I just did a deer hunt with my kid in Colorado. We killed 3 bucks. He's going on this mission and then he's going to freaking college. It's probably the last time we're going to have together for a long time, Ben. Like,
That's wild.
it's wild, man. Like think about it. Like he wants to be a lawyer. He's going to go to
Yeah.
6 years worth of school. Like he's not going hunting with me. Then he's going to get a job somewhere for some freaking firm and probably working 70 hours a week or whatever he's going to do. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he's probably not going to go on another hunt with me. Like when's he going to be able to take 2 weeks off to go hunting with me or 10 days off,
Right.
So like, I know people tell you all the time, like cherish it now, you're going to miss it. But like I'm experiencing it now. It's pretty weird. It's pretty
Yeah.
wild, man. Like he's going. Like we're becoming empty nesters, right? They're going out of the house now rather than coming in, which is really weird for us.
Yeah. That's got to be a crazy feeling, man. It's like cats in the cradle, Like you just feel like no, you never have enough time with them when they're little, and then one day they're not anymore. So it's pretty
Yeah,
crazy.
and that's one of the things too. Like I regret. Like I worked up until May of this year. I was working 16 hours a day, dude. Like 7 days a week. Like my whole life, I've worked that
Hmm.
way. I started working at 12 years old for my dad. I was doing 85-hour weeks when I was 14 when he started his company. And that's the only thing I knew, right? So I kind of feel like I robbed my kids of a lot of me, right? They didn't get the best of me. And I'm really learning that now. And I do feel like I think I have really good kids. I got kids that are morally sound and conservative and like they're good men. They're hardworking, right? Everyone's impressed with them at church and they have good jobs, but they missed the best of me, right? They got me coming home from a, 12-hour day, dog tired, getting on my phone, laying down on the couch that I can't get up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Totally.
And like my other kids now are getting me and they're experiencing me. And I really wish I would have done better with my older boys and kids to be in their life,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just,
Totally.
you kind of lose it. You kind of look at like, I tell people all the time, like, you get in this, chase, if I just go buy this boat or do these things, it's like, dude, your kid will have just as much fun freaking fish from the shore for trout at the local
Right.
lake as you would if
Yeah.
you went and bought that $100,000 boat. That boat's more for you than your kids, right? And we get so
Yeah.
caught up in this, like, I've got to do all these things and get them all this stuff, get them this bike. Like, dude, like you go buy the best bike, we don't go ride bikes with them. You know what I mean? Just freaking go buy a
Right.
crappy bike and go ride bikes with them. It means so much more than that. Or get a football, dude. Throw a football with your kid. Like it's so easy to do that. And we get so
Yeah.
caught up in like trying to provide a life for them rather than just be a part of their life. I'm not trying to be all
Sure.
sentimental right now, but I don't know. This is
No, man, I feel you. Just follow it where it goes, right? And like that's one of my things that I've been most happy with in this lifestyle and being able to kind of build my own schedule is, like my wife's a school teacher, and for a long
Mhm.
time I would stay with the kids in the morning while she would go teach, you know what I mean? And then I would go out after she got home and I would go try to make videos or whatever I was trying to do. And I think having those mornings with my boys is the greatest thing ever. I still look back on them with like a fondness, and I feel like that's where we like really cemented our relationship is we just spent so much time together every single day. And I'll always be glad and always be grateful. No matter where this career thing ends up, I'm always going to be glad for the time that I got to like just really cement our relationship with my boys. That alone was worth it. So now it's just kind of like figuring out the next step and how to involve them in everything and take them everywhere. But I don't know. Are you going to take them to Mexico? That's always my question. Is like, when do you start taking them on those bigger hunts?
I'm probably not. I kind of want to take my 11-year-old down there to do some javelina hunting. I probably won't bring him on this hunt with us. No, just gonna be like a dad's trip, and get out there and do it. But
Yeah.
I am bringing like my 5-year-old's going to Western Hunt and Sheep Show with us, so he'll be at all
Oh,
the
that'll be
banquets.
fun.
He'll be flying the placard up, buying crap, doing the whole thing. So we're bringing him to those shows with us, trying to include him where I can. Right, like we took him to the whole family to TAC this year. Like we had to go TAC in Salt Lake, and we
Mm-hmm.
road tripped up. We have a big passenger van that my kid just totaled, by the way. Had to buy another one.
Nice.
Yeah, dude, it was awesome. Freaking took out two trucks, took out two
Oh,
cars. 18 years old, took out two cars. Guys got bodily injuries, the whole nine, suing us. It's
oh,
a good time.
that
So
sounds fun.
yeah, super fun. At the scene, the guy's like, "Oh, I'm fine. Don't worry about it." I'm like, "Dude, I see your car. You're gonna be hurting tomorrow." And sure
Yeah.
enough, lawyers, the whole nine. But whatever, kids are awesome. Um, so, anyways, we took the van up, went up to Salt Lake, up to the TAC event, rented a house, and we went from there. We went on a road trip from that. We kind of like turned it into like a family trip with it, trying to
Mm-hmm.
include them where we can. And then you just got to know their limits, right? Like 10 years old is still pretty young,
Yeah.
right? Like that's kind of like, right, you're at the threshold, right? Like I tell people all the time, like my 18-year-old is still so recoil shy. I screwed him up. Like I was just
Mm-hmm.
like, your first kid, you're always pushing so hard,
Yeah.
right? Like you're like, shoot this 12 gauge, do that, do that, and like you learn like, man, like you can get so much more accurate by having your kid shoot a 22 or a freaking BB gun than you can from having them shoot the freaking 30-06. You know what I mean? Because it's
Yeah.
funny.
Mm-hmm.
So I just learned to kind of like not push them as hard, But I do kind of feel like my 18-year-old complains to me sometimes, like you're so much harder on me than you are on Simon. It's like, yeah, just there's this balance there, right? Like you do want
Right.
to get them out in the blinds, and then you will find like that you're going to start taking your older boy out more than your other kids because they're funner, right? When your
Yeah.
older boy's 12 and 13 years old, they're more enjoyable because you can like actually do things with them, and they're not like you're not
Right.
having to like keep them alive. They can kind of keep themselves alive. But I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. You kind of just got to know the balance and just get them out there where you can and pick the right hunts for them. And I mean, you should get him. He's going to be 10, so you should put him in the Arizona draw this year.
Yeah.
You can
Yep.
hunt
I
at 10. I
should.
think it's 12. It's 12 in Utah, right?
Yeah. 12 in Utah, but we'll start building Arizona points next year,
Yeah, start
and
building
then
Arizona points in them now because you could draw like I don't want to say the unit. I'll tell you the unit off air. There's a really good cow tag down there that you could draw with like
mm-hmm.
1 or 2 points. My buddies drew it like 2 years in a row,
Yeah, that'd be fun. It'd
and
be
you could do that.
a good first hunt.
Yeah, great first time. And then the deer tags, you used to be able to draw them every year, but the kids have crept like crazy. So now it's like 3 years to draw a deer tag down there.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
actually probably going to start. The problem is like the deer tags are like $30 for kids,
Mm-hmm.
and it's easier to draw an adult tag than it is a kid's tag now. So
Yeah,
it's like,
just because they're
but
so
it costs
cheap.
you $350. So it's
Right.
like, what do I want to do? Like my 12-year-old, like my boy's already had 2 hunts in, and now my 12-year-old's going to get his first. He has 3 points now, so he should draw this year. But yeah, everything's creeping. It's just freaking hard,
Yeah,
man. And then
it is.
Oregon, if you have any interest in hunting Oregon, it's super cheap for kids to apply.
Hmm. That's
So you can
another one
apply
I
in
need to look
Oregon
into.
for $5 for a license, and then like $5 a point. So I think you could.
Jeez.
It's like $27 to get all the points for a kid in Oregon, and you can start doing it at 9.
Wow. I better get on that one too.
Yeah, Oregon and the cool thing with like that too is like if you want to be like shady about it, is you can just split points. So you can be like, hey, I'm
Hmm.
going to build your points up for 8 years. And then when he's 18, it only, you go and split his points. You both have 4 points. You go hunt like, Hell's Canyon or something,
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be
So,
fun. Yeah, you got to game the system a little bit, right?
oh, you got to do it. Everyone's doing it, right? There's,
Right.
yeah. I wish you can like pass the points on. That's what I'm worried about too, is like some of these states, like my 18-year-old, I've been buying his points forever. Now he's going to go to school. Like some of these states, if you don't buy points, you lose them.
Right.
So it's like he's not gonna be able to afford. Now I'm gonna be stuck paying for his points. I don't want to lose his points. He's got like 8 points in Arizona, and he's not gonna be
Yeah.
able to afford that. He can barely afford freaking gas.
Yeah. Some of that stuff's frustrating, man. Like my grandma, when she passed away, she had max points for bison in Utah, and it's just she never drew, and that was it. Like
No way.
I think that stuff's frustrating.
Yeah, I thought you can will those down.
No. Mm-mm. If you die, so you can mentor your points. Like if she would have drawn a tag, she could have given it to a grandkid or
Okay.
something like that. But she wouldn't have because she's a killer. But she, yeah, she never got to burn them. It was it sucked.
Man. So you talk about being like a nomad and doing your stuff. So I absolutely love like living on the road. Like I do like hotel stuff too, right? Like I'll go on trips and I'll go to Hawaii, whatever. But like what I love the most is like sleeping out of my truck and being out
Yeah,
there.
dude.
And like honestly, this year I did a lot of the canvas cutter stuff. Like not knocking them, they're phenomenal. I love if you don't have a canvas cutter, buy a canvas cutter. They are phenomenal. But I really wanted to up my game. Like you saw my truck I had, right? I had that old F-150. It's 20 years old, beat to hell. Everyone's making fun of it in the videos, but it's like that's how I made it to where I am today, right? Like it's not
Right.
buying trucks. Like,
Right. Yeah. Dude,
So-
I feel you. I'm driving a 06. I get you.
So I bought a new truck this year, and I just bought an Oru like pop-up camper for it.
Oh yeah.
So it's got like the pop up top with the bed in it. Like I'm so stoked because I found like this year, like dude, Ben, being able to be mobile is so nice. Like not having a
Yeah.
wall tent is so nice because you can like go and bounce across the, like Colorado. We bounced 3 hours in the morning. You
Hmm.
know, if I had a wall tent, it's like an experience. Take that thing down, right, and reset it up.
Yep.
So that's why I love the canvas cutters. I'm hoping that using this pop up, I can go do. I want to do some like coyote trips and like just be real
Yeah.
mobile. Like go across Arizona or come over to Utah and be
Hmm.
mobile and hunt. Um, let's talk about your setup, like what you're doing, how you're sleeping, because you do have the Sienna too, or did that
Yeah.
finally die?
Well, she's pretty much toast. So I think I plugged the catalytic converter on it. I was in Indiana, dude, and I'm like, I have a conspiracy theory. I think these dudes like literally put sand or sugar in my gas tank or something. Because I was out there on some public land in Indiana shed hunting. These dudes rolled up on me, like five big old fat guys on 4-wheelers, and they were basically like trying to intimidate me into not parking in this. But I'm showed them on Onyx. I'm like, I'm in public, dude. And anyway, they were like, the one dude after a while was like, I've seen your videos, and I'm like, all right, cool. So I went and hiked for like 3 or 4 hours, and I came back, fired up my van, and dude, it ran like dog crap ever since. And I thought it was something with the catalytic converter, and it just had no power. And I literally lugged it the whole way home from Indiana, going 55 miles an hour from Indiana to Utah. It took me like 29 hours. Horrible, but it's never been the same since. And like, I just think, maybe I'm being paranoid, but dude, I think they screwed with it or something.
Dude, I've
But
heard some horror stories, especially Oregon. I've heard some horror stories about Oregon and Idaho not like a non-res.
yeah, and I mean, it could be something like that for sure because they were pretty. They had cameras. They saw me on their cameras, like cell cameras, and like rolled up to see what was going on. But I'm like, public land. Anyway, that's a side bet. But my setup. So I had the Sienna, and the Sienna, I loved it because like you could literally park at any truck stop, hop in the back, go to sleep. I had a cot in there, and a sleeping bag, and it's just so comfortable anywhere you go. And then my truck now, like I rolled a bedroll for a lot of years, ran a canvas cutter for a lot of years, and just slept, threw it out in the dirt and slept. And it
Mhm.
was comfortable. I like that portability and the weatherproofing. But as I get older, dude, I just want that next level of comfort. So I upgraded to a GFC truck camper
Mhm.
uh, almost 2 years ago now. I have it on the back of my Tundra, so I have the pop up, and I built like kind of a deck system in there platform. So I'll crawl in there and I'll sleep in the downstairs if I'm trying to be sneaky, like at a truck stop or something. Or if I'm out camping, then I pop the tent up and sleep up top. And dude, that it's so comfortable and so nice. Especially you get like those GFCs, you can set them up and take them down in like a minute. Like they're
Yeah.
so easy, so
Yeah.
fast. So I pretty much sleep in there. And then obviously I have like ultralight set up for when I'm backpack hunting and stuff. But dude, I love truck camping. It's like one of my favorite things in the world.
Yeah. So if you don't know what GFC is, GFC is Go Fast Campers. It's actually what I was looking at, but this company Oro is in San Diego. That's why I use them. So I'll drive up there and do it.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's a camper shell that goes on your truck, and you can like pop the top up and have it, like do you have a wedge style or do you have the straight up
Yeah, it's
one?
a wedge. It's a wedge
Yeah,
camper.
I got
Yeah.
the wedge too. I didn't want to get the straight up one. I was like, I don't need that. They're expensive, man. It's
Yeah.
expensive. But do
Hmm.
you work with Go Fast Campers at all?
I do, yeah, and I actually helped Larry over there. He's one of my good buddies, and I kind of helped him build their ambassador program and get some people on board. So I was able. I mean, I was saving up for one anyway. I had about half the money saved up, but luckily I got the hookup, so it was awesome. And dude, I've absolutely loved it. It's so freaking just changed the game.
Yeah, you'll see mine in Mexico. I'm probably gonna sleep in mine when we go down there because I think the house is a
Yeah,
little bit small, and I'm like, I'm just gonna stay in my truck. But yeah, dude, like that's my thing too. Is like I am getting older. Like it
yeah,
is nice to like be able to rest a little bit and not like I don't like sleeping in hotels
right.
because I have so much gear. You don't realize how much money's in your car until you like start adding it up. And you're like, dude, there's 20, 30 grand in this truck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like my life is in this truck. This thing got things one of these freaking meth towns I'm in. You know what I mean? No offense, small town USA, but dude, like I don't leave my truck outside. Like I don't want to bring everything in the hotel with me. So most of the time I'm just sleeping. A lot of times I would before this year, before I had the bedroll, I was just sleeping on a tarp outside under the stars. You know what I mean? But then
Yeah.
like I had a couple of nights where it was like super windy and just
Hmm.
miserable. And I use a quilt, so it's just miserable, Or so
Yeah.
I'm getting in the truck and it's like hide in the truck. And I got the canvas cutter this year, and or like the last year and a half, and those have been game changers. Like I
Yeah.
absolutely love. I mean, like if you just want a way to sleep, like that's such a nice way to sleep. And honestly,
Yep.
for me, as long as it's not gonna be like super inclement weather, because I like to be able to like you're kind of stuck in this cocoon. So like if you want to get
Right.
dressed and stuff, like it is a little bit hard. Um, it's so nice to be able to pop this thing up, be mobile. Like if I were to go hunt, like you want to go hunt Arizona and do like a mobile hunt, like those
Hmm.
things are so rad for that. Like
Oh yeah.
it's such a good way to get around and not have to have a base camp because base camps really do. I've been trying not to with my hunting, like not pigeonhole myself. I feel
Hmm.
like I had like when I first started hunting, I was really pigeonholing and I'd back into these areas and it was like if there was no deer, I was screwed. But with having the canvas cutters, I'm able to move, be more mobile, and kind of make it bounce. You know, and I don't move right away, but I'm finding like when you have a 5 day tag, you're 2.5 days into it, and you're not seeing deer. Like you need to make a move. You know,
Yeah. Yep. And
and
I
those.
was just like, I love that because I don't even roll mine up. Like I would leave it rolled out in the bed,
Oh yeah.
truck bed, throw my gear on top of it, and not even care. I would move spots and like I don't know. I can't tell you how many hundreds of nights I spent in one of those bed rolls. They're a great way to go.
Oh dude, they are so comfortable because it's a 4 inch thick pad. Dude,
Hmm.
it's like I sleep better in the canvas cutter than I do on my bed at home. Like I love,
Yeah.
and that's one thing. It's weird. Like, do you have this experience? Like, I spend a lot of time in the field. I love sleeping outside. When I get home and go in my room, I kind of want to go sleep outside for a couple
Dude,
of
yeah, I
nights.
sleep
Dude,
terrible when I come home.
dude, I want to like. There's a couple of times where I'm like, dude, I just want to go lay on the. I have like an outdoor patio. Like, I want to go lay on the
Hmm.
patio and sleep out there, like on the patio couch. You know what I mean? Because like I'm just like I like being outside. I
Yeah,
enjoy it.
so do I. Yeah, I think sleeping outside's the business, man. And I uh I always like want to go sleep on the trampoline when I get home and stuff. So, but
It's
it's like
weird.
I love to sleep when it's cold too, man. Like when it's
Yeah,
freezing cold, I love to be outside, like just tucked in. I love it.
yeah. Yeah, the hard part is getting out of it in the
Hmm.
morning. You got to roll out
Yeah.
of that sucker and do it. That is one thing about the bed rolls. Like you are kind of like, if it's freezing balls, you're not getting up and turning the freaking stove on like it's cold.
No.
But with the truck, you could put. Are you running like a? Do you get a diesel heater or do you run in like a little buddy's
Yeah, I
heater or
have a
anything?
little single burner buddy heater. I actually have a dual as well, but I'll just leave like the GFC has the crawl through floor, you know, so I'll leave one of
Yeah,
the
that's what
floor
mine has
panels
too.
open,
Yeah,
and I'll put a propane heater on the down below, and then the heat
mhm,
rises up through, and it'll torch you, man. Like if you crank that thing on in 3 minutes, like you got to get out of your sleeping bag. It's so hot.
really. Yeah, that's what I got. The same thing, little buddy. And my thing is the same style. You pop it through the front. I have seen some diesel heaters they make that goes on the side and they're pretty cheap, but I don't know how hardcore.
Yeah,
I don't
dude,
want to
they're
be like a.
awesome.
They are. Are they really cool?
Yeah. And they have like a lot of them have the thermostat built in the remote. So
That'd be
like you put
nice.
it in there with you and you set it to whatever you want, it'll just automatically kick on. All the fumes are outside. You just have a heat vent coming in. Like I'll
Mhm.
get one eventually for sure.
Yeah, I've been looking at doing something like that. I definitely don't want to be like a douchebag, like an overland douchebag, you know, because like especially
Yeah,
in like
right.
SoCal, dude, like there's
There's a
so many
line.
guys, and you're like, oh, I don't want to be that guy. But I feel like I'm actually need it. Like I'm actually going to use this thing all the time, more than once a year, right? Like I live out
Right.
of my truck, right? And like I'd rather like I'm going to do all these PRS matches and all the stuff in the spring. Like I love having that ability to sleep in there, so I'm super stoked on that. I am curious what you did on the deck thing. Did you actually get a deck, or did you build something?
No, they didn't have one that fit my truck because I have a Gen 1 Tundra. So it's like they didn't make a production model. And I talked to them and they're like, you can modify this one model, but it seemed a little like kind of a headache. And I'm like, I'm just going to build one. And then when I get a new truck, I'll get a deck for it. But I just built one out of OSB and 4x4s and it's super sturdy. It's modular, pulls out in 2 minutes. It's really easy.
Do you feel like I'm curious, like if I want to do a deck or not? Because it's like I feel like it takes up half your truck bed, and you're getting two drawers. Like I,
Yeah. I think it was a good move. I'm surprised how practical the platform is. So I have one big drawer that goes underneath that I built that I put all my cooking stuff in, and then like I have some of my tools and stuff that just you can lock your tailgate, all that stuff locked in, and then it just the stuff that was floating around in totes fits underneath there, and it leaves me more space. The one time it does get a little much is when you bring the I mean, I run a kill bag too, but like if you're bringing the big Yeti, like I have a Yeti
mhm.
210 and if you're bringing that big cooler, it's like zaps your space. And then if you need to sleep back there, you have to pull everything out. But I think the deck, like that type of a system, actually improves it a lot,
Dude, how sick are those kill bags?
dude. They're the solution.
They aren't they?
Yeah,
I I had him on the phone this morning. He's like the guy who owns kill bags. Also, my designers. Like full disclosure, like we're good friends. We know each other. Our
sure.
dads are friends when they were kids, and like they were just doing fishing. I'm like, dude, you got to get these into hunting. You got it. And I talked to him this morning on the phone. He's like, dude, I can't believe like half my orders are hunting now.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, because
Well,
like, yeah,
it's
there's the
such a
best.
it's such a perfect product for our space because I mean, yeah, it's like if you need to keep ice for 10 days, like you want a Yeti for sure. But
Yep.
like if you are just gonna have a cooler that you need in case you kill an animal that you can bring it home in,
Yep.
like it's top tier. And I was talking to Troy too about some of the other possible options. Like, dude, I think there's so many products in that niche too that could continue to like make that more adapted to hunters. And I think the world is his oyster if he wants to go after the hunting, dude. It's wide open.
Dude, and like for me, as somebody who doesn't kill animals every time I go out, like it's nice not having that big old cooler in there. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. It's
And
just rolled up in the back.
because you're always like, you have like a lot of dudes are rolling around with those freaking like 300 quart Yetis, which is like half your truck. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
for sure.
just in case. And the cool thing about the kill bag is it like molds around the animals. You can get so much more. It's not like a square box. Like you're trying to put
Right.
like an animal into a square box. There's so much extra space. The kill bag kind of molds around it. You know what I mean? So and
Mhm.
then like it just fits in your truck better, and it's just such a better solution all around. And we've actually got a bunch of guys are switching over to it. I think Brian Barney's got one. The guys at Gritty have one. I think
Mhm.
Schneider got one now. Like
Yeah.
it's the way to go. Like and then like flying is dope because
Yeah.
then like it only weighs like I took the 36-inch, which I
Mhm.
wish they'd make a little bit bigger. I took a 36-inch up to Wyoming and put my whole antelope in there.
Yeah.
So it got processed. Put the antelope in there. The thing weighed like 42 pounds. Flew home with it.
Yeah. That's
Didn't have to pay,
perfect.
dude. It was so solid. Like it's just like a way to go.
Yeah.
And you can actually like when we flew to we came up from Hawaii, we took 100 pounds in each of the kill bags. Me and Brad Hunt. We actually you can like vacuum seal them. If that makes any sense. You can like
Mhm.
zip it up and then sit on it and smash it down, so it's actually more compact. It doesn't have
Yeah.
that whole area, of your back of your truck, which is nice.
Yeah, yep, that's nice, and I like the idea of being able to fly it too. That 36 seems like a super practical size. I have a 60-inch one, and I was blown away, dude. I shot a bull in Colorado this year, and it's not a big bull, but 3-year-old bull, and it fit with room to spare, quartered
Yep.
out.
Did it?
I
Yeah,
was
we did. I did one and
I
a
was
half cows in
surprised.
mine, in two of them.
Yeah,
We did, and it was like I think you could put a whole bowl in there. I was excited to hear you did
yeah,
that.
yeah. I think you could put a big bull in there. Like after I saw how much room was left over, because you can position the quarters to take up all that space, like you're saying. But I had all four quarters. I had neck meat, rib meat, heart, liver, everything, and it closed easily. And I could have put more stuff in there if I needed to.
And you throw ice on top of it, and then because I was running before, I was just running the igloos because I'm not going to go buy a freaking $1,000 Yeti.
Sure. Yeah.
It's a status symbol, in my
Yeah. Oh,
opinion.
it is, dude.
Like
hundred
it's
percent,
a
bro.
status symbol. Like unless you're going to give me one for free, like I'm not going to buy one.
It's my proudest status symbol. Dude, I'll show that off. Like some people put the big buck on the top of the truck, bro. I'm throwing my Yeti up there. I'd
Put
way
your
rather
Yeti
show
up
that.
there.
Speak of the devil, dude. You know what I mean? Big old sticker.
Yeah, dude. It's like it is like it is a status symbol, but they just the kill bags are where it's at, dude. I'm so stoked for Troy, and I was excited to hear him talk to me this morning. We're gonna go to lunch tomorrow, I think, or the next day, and just he wants to talk about everything that's going on with kill bags and that stuff. So
Good.
this
Yeah.
isn't a
Tell
kill
myself
bags
what's up.
podcast, but we should. It is cool to give them a shout out. If you guys don't have a kill bag, they're awesome. We've been using them in SoCal forever for fishing,
Hmm.
and they have such a good application for the hunting space. So go get a kill bag, killbags.com or something.
Yep.
I get nothing from kill bags, by the way, other than he's my friend and I like to support cool brands. Um, so yeah, you got the deck thing. I'm excited to get my truck set up for that. My truck, I actually got like they built a panel, panels on both sides to open up, and then it's got like the barn doors in the back. On the one side, I put a cage in all the way along it. So
Hmm.
when I open up, I'm gonna put my guns in there. In my
Oh, that's
mind,
cool.
it's gonna be sick. So my guns will be able to be right there. So I have to like have them sliding around. I do like the
Yeah.
idea of the deck because it is like kind of hard to have 50 totes everywhere. So
Hmm.
I don't know. I might try the deck. I don't know. I gotta try it
Yeah.
out and see what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. I've never messed with an official decked one all that much, but I like the platform, and I think after building one, that I think a decked one would be pretty sweet.
Yeah. Are you doing any kind of like grass or anything in there?
No, I have no, it's just OSB, and then I have a foam pad that I put on the one side that I sleep on, but there's nothing like
Okay.
I thought about putting carpet or something, but I don't have anything in there right now.
I've seen some guys doing like fake grass, like artificial
Hmm.
grass, and they're really stoked on that. So I don't know.
Yeah, man, maybe. I know. I I give it a try, I guess. I had a carpet kit in my last one that was underneath the platform system, and that was way rad because it kept so much dust out. Like mine gets pretty dang dusty.
Does it? So what is like how many days do you sleep in your truck a year?
Man, I think I kept track the first year I had the GFC, and I think it was like 150 something.
Really?
Yeah, so I think like when I first started and I was just shed hunting constantly, I know my first year in this I was over 200 days, 200 nights gone.
Really?
My first year. So yeah, an average year now I'd say it's between 150 and 200.
Damn. So what do you do? I guess we haven't even really talked about what you do other than, like, so why
Yeah.
are you spending 200 days in your truck? Because that's like my dream. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
so
That's
I
awesome.
make YouTube videos. Mostly that's what I do. Like this year, I've actually made less YouTube videos than ever before, just because I don't know. Instagram's popping and like Facebook views are popping, and I'm finding that I'm getting way more exposure on other platforms. So I've kind of back tabled YouTube a little bit. Um, like, so I make social media content for a living. I make stupid videos on Instagram, funny videos. I make hunting videos for YouTube, shed hunting videos. The thing that got me into the industry was shed hunting. I quit my job to see if I could find enough sheds to pay my bills. That was my goal. Luckily, I got to know some social media dudes right from the get go, and they're like, bro, there's a whole other way to monetize this thing. You got to do social media. So I started YouTube. I already had a decent Instagram following at that time. So I just kind of roll everything into one, make content, and work with cool companies, and somehow have figured out a way to pay my bills for the last 8 years doing all this stuff. So
That's awesome. So Facebook surprisingly is like our best marketing tool, which I think
mhm.
it's because like people who have money are older on Facebook.
Yeah,
Like
it
it
could be
crushes. It's like Instagram's what I spend most of my time on.
right.
It's like
Same.
more fun, but like when it comes to our ads, like Facebook's what crushes it. Cause I think that's what guys who have, 20-year-old kids aren't buying, $500 tripods. It's like the dudes in
Yeah.
their 30s and 40s are buying the tripods and they're on Facebook, um, checking out their friends
Yep.
from high school. The YouTube thing, dude, is so hard. We just hit 1,000 followers. I just
Heck
I
yeah.
got the email yesterday. Like I've been like pushing the YouTube. Like we're filming all of our hunts, but it's tough, man. Like how many followers you got on YouTube?
30 something thousand.
Damn. And that's
Yeah.
like how when did you? I mean, 8 years ago when you started doing this, how many do you have on YouTube?
I mean, when I pulled the trigger, I pushed myself a couple thousand subscribers right off the bat just because I had a big Instagram following. But yeah, I mean, over the course of 7 or 8 years, it's just been a trickle. And I feel like a lot of that is shed hunting is such a niche. And my channel's called Shed Crazy. So if people aren't shed hunters, they're not going to subscribe really.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like we're covering the niche. I feel like we have, like, it's the biggest straight shed hunting channel on YouTube for sure. Um, but it's just like, you really have to take off somewhere else. And I think I'm a little bit too pigeonholed to be like a giant hunting channel, at least at this point, without maybe changing the name or something. But I don't worry too much about it.
I think a niche is good though. Like I'm really good friends with James Visser, Bow Disciples.
Yeah, yeah, I do. I know who that is.
So he's got like 100,000 followers on YouTube.
Mhm.
And he's got a big like 80 or 90,000 followers on. He's an influencer. It's what he does, right? Like he just did
Yeah,
freaking lift, run, shoot with freaking Cameron Haynes. Like he's like
yeah,
becoming a big deal. He's hanging out with Josh Bomar, and he's just like, dude, like just get to the first 1,000. Like you just keep putting content up, and it like snowballs right over time. Like things just keep coming in, and I've seen that right because I think I started this year. I think in like April or May, I had like 300 followers, and I'm like, well, I'm just gonna
hmm
keep pushing content. And it is frustrating though, dude. Like you put a lot of you spend the same amount of money, like me and you spend the same amount of money to make a video.
sure.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it's like it's hard to make a video and you get like 400 views and you're just like,
Yeah.
but I got to keep doing it, because for I don't know what it is for me. Like I really want to have a good. I'm trying to build this like brand, right? Like more than just
Mhm.
the tripods, right? Like so I want to have all facets, whether it be YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. And for me, I really like YouTube. I feel like it gives you more of a look at me personally,
Yeah.
but it's hard to grow that, man. It's tough.
Yeah. It is. It does. You get a better connection out of the audience there. And I've always felt like the 30 or something thousand that I have on YouTube is more valuable than the 90 whatever on Instagram. Just because the people there are there for you. They're there to watch what you do. They're there because it's more of a relationship kind of a thing, right?
It
Like
is.
they're the more true followers, I feel like. And um, I feel like they're more likely to do anything you ask them to do too. If you say click this link or if you say check out this product, they're more interested in what you have to say. So I think YouTube's harder to build for sure, but it's a better platform for the audience at least.
And you're putting together more than just shed videos, right? You are putting hunt videos together too, right?
Yeah, yep, it's about 50-50 now. Like the
Yeah.
last couple years, I've been trying to find a shed in all 50 states.
Yep.
And so that's kind of dominated the landscape over there because obviously I'm 50 something videos just into that series. But yeah, I do hunt videos too. I've done a few hunt videos this year and I have a few more to post right now.
Do you do all your own editing?
Yeah. You'll know that when you watch my videos, you'll be like, this is not professional.
I was
This guy
doing
definitely does it himself.
I bought my own like editing software. I did the whole thing, right? Cause I film a lot of I have a filmer on a lot of my hunts, but like my kids hunt, I filmed that myself, or I self filmed it. Like
Mhm.
all my tax stuff, like my PRS stuff I'm filming or my kids are filming. I was editing myself, but it was so like, like next scene, I ended up getting a kid, Ethan. He works for us now pretty much full time, and he's doing all my editing for me. And that makes my life so much easier because the editing
Yeah.
part, I like, same with the podcast. Like Chad Reicher's listening to this right now. If you've never done Chad's podcast, Out of State Hunter, um,
Uh-uh.
he does all my editing for my podcast, and it's just so much better than when I was doing
Yeah.
it myself. Like it gives me the freedom to keep producing things rather than try to edit it. Cause like I feel like I'll go and try and make a reel. It takes me an hour and it sucks. And this kid makes, I'll text this kid and he'll reel back to me in like 10 minutes and it's
Yeah.
phenomenal. You know,
Yeah.
he's just better. People are just better at certain things, and I am
Yeah.
not good
And
at that. You know.
that's how I am too, man. And I feel like I've tried to be a one trick pony for so long. Like I've tried to do every single thing, like run the website, the merchandise, try to be like an online store on top of like a content creator, be the personality in the channel. And then you're also trying to like, edit your own videos, film everything, be a videographer, schedule all your travel, all your planning. So wearing all those hats means that none of them get worn that well. And the
Mm-hmm.
crossroad that I've been at for the longest time on my YouTube channel was like, I need a full time cameraman and a full time editor, and the money that it now costs to employ those guys is just like becomes cost prohibitive. So it's like, do I want to take the big risk, and do I want to float all this cash in the hopes that suddenly we start bringing that kind of money in? I mean, I could, or I could just keep paying my bills and doing my thing. So I'm always at that point of like, well, do I bite the bullet, pay the big bucks, or do I just keep doing what makes me happy?
Yeah, on the lowest end to get someone to film for me is like $200 a day.
Yeah.
I pay my kid 150, so that's kind of
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, that's just
Pay
hire
him.
him. Kids can
Actually,
film these days.
I just paid him 150, and then I took his money back from him because when I was on my last hunt, he kicked the door in and broke the door. So
Ah,
I was like,
dang it,
"Oh, like you're
Dad.
paying for this now. There's your money. Hey, there
Yep.
you go." He's a whole 150. I'm like, "No, actually, it's 400." So it's kind of nice having your employees be related to you. But
Right.
yeah, it is hard. It's expensive, and that's the other thing with the YouTube stuff too. Like we're paying for all these hunts to get filmed to do this stuff, and you get 2,000 views. Like, is it
Yep.
worth it? That's where it's tough,
Maybe.
man. Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe in
Yeah.
5 years. That it's such a long game thing with the content creation.
It is. Yeah. But I think that it is worth it in a lot of ways, especially like in a business like yours, because people are always gonna be seeking information for the products. They're gonna be wanting to know, and that's definitely converting sales for you, right? Like I know me, like whenever I buy a gun or whenever I buy a new product, or whether it's a hunting product or not, I'm watching reviews and I want to see and I want to hear people's firsthand experience with it, and I want to hear from the people who designed it. Like I will geek out, especially a high end product. So
Mhm.
I know that stuff converts sales, and I know like the people that I watch on YouTube and the content that I consume, like I'm finding out about new products from them all the time, and because of them, I'm finding new stuff to buy and I'm buying it. So like I really believe the model works, but it's not like a direct connection or a correlation. You never know how much, and it's not quantifiable. So it's hard too in the world where I'm at, where it's like I make my living by getting paid to advertise on social media, but I can't really provide any company with like, oh, this is exactly how much money I made for you or how many eyeballs I got on your
Yeah, it's
product. It's like you
hard.
just kind of have to trust me that it's getting done, and it's a hard pill to swallow, especially for like a marketing guy.
Oh, it's super hard to follow, and it's like it's hard to quantify sometimes. And you're like, you get some influencers who just push the crap out of your product, but they're probably not doing as good as like Ben is using it once. It's like it's such a
Sure.
weird. It's such a weird, like, it's an actual job now. Can you like 10 years ago, even like, what? No, that's not a real job. Like, no,
Yeah, I
it's a
didn't even know it was
real,
a thing.
it's a real thing. Like there's all this analytics behind it. And so that's why I try not to do that, be in charge of that stuff. I try to let my team
Hmm.
be in charge of that stuff because there's tough conversations to have with people. Like, hey, I need
Yeah.
pictures. Hey, I need this stuff.
Yep. Yeah, for
So
sure.
it's like, I don't know. Social media, man, it's not going anywhere. Like, it's not going to
No,
change.
people thought it was for a long time, and I know like the people who would be owning it right now, a lot of them quit early because they thought it was just gonna fall off, but it's not going away.
Now, are you doing TikTok?
I quit TikTok. It was more like I was more pissed off at the platform, and it was a couple years ago. I was dude getting views like crazy over there. My account grew to like 50,000 super fast, but they kept shutting me down for shed antlers, and I got pissed at these commie Chinese guys doing it, so I shut it
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, dude, we
But
get, with Meta, we get hammered all the time. Like, I don't know if you've
yeah,
seen some
man,
of our
they're
have you
bad
seen
too.
some of our ads now? Like, we a lot of this year, we haven't been able to people. We haven't been able to get any new followers unless they came to us. Like we couldn't like new people don't see our content because of
Yeah,
whatever it is,
suggested.
and they'll get us for anything. The AI gets us for like tripods. So they'll see a tripod and they'll shut us down. It's like it's a tripod. So we're starting to do stuff now. Like you'll see like we have the Nerf guns and stuff in the videos,
Yeah,
and that's not to be funny. That's to like try and like we literally have to do that, right? Like I did one for the
yeah,
new DZ head, and I'm using a stick. And I know I'm kind of being a smartass with it, but like it's for a reason because if I put my rifle in there, it's gone. Like there's no
yep,
like, and the only way to get rid of it is to actually delete that post, right? So we've had to
right.
delete a lot of posts. Makes it really hard to advertise. I'm hoping that's going to change. Like you're seeing guys like Zuckerberg. I think Elon's kind of like plowing the way for that, right? Like, hey, we
I
want to
hope
be
so.
want freedom, you know what I mean, and this stuff. And I'm hoping like that maybe guys like Zuckerberg will come in and maybe loosen the reins a little bit. But the thing is with those
Yeah,
companies, dude, it's like Zuckerberg's one dude, and it's run by like 50,000 liberals. You know what I mean? So
right.
it's like
Yeah,
it's not like
he's
he's
getting
making.
red pilled though, dude.
He is.
Zuckerberg's coming over. Like you can
He
tell he's
is.
trying to be like a cool guy.
He is getting red pilled for sure. You could see it. And I think he even donated like $1 million on like one of Trump's things or something. So
Yeah,
we'll see. I mean, you got a guy like Elon just comes in and just like, no, we're not going to do this anymore. And opens up, gives people freedom. But yeah, we definitely get targeted at Tricer for, I mean, everything. We try, like,
mhm,
everything we do, we get hit up for it. And we're actually having to make like burner accounts now just in case we get shut down because they'll come in to
yeah,
shut your account down. Like, that's your livelihood. Like, Shed Crazy is
yep,
your livelihood, 90,000 followers.
mhm,
They could all of a sudden decide that like they didn't like that Ben shot an elk with a rifle and they just shut his whole account down.
yep,
You
yeah,
lose it. Like that happened to Courtney over her outdoor journey. She
yeah,
had
yep.
38,000 followers, or something like that, and they shut her down, took it away, just gone.
Zapped it. Yep. Yeah, that's tough, man. And I've had little incidents like that before where I'll get flagged and I can't post for a minute. Or I had one on Facebook where I had a gun barrel that was on my back, just
Mm-hmm.
sticking up a gun barrel, and it got flagged. And I'm always blown away. But I just delete them, put them back up. The one that sucked bad, man, I got deleted by for a video where I was talking about shooting a elk in the headlights, just like screwing around, stupid video, dude. It was like at 1.8 million views in like 1 or 2 days, and they killed it because somebody flagged it. It's just so stupid. And I'm like, that was going mega viral. But
So you enjoy, like, I know you enjoy controversy a little bit. I know you like, how do you handle like you post stupid crap, right? Like, I mean, you would
yeah.
say like I post stupid crap. You
Mhm.
have to get haters.
Oh yeah, and dude, honestly, I love it. Like
Love it, right?
when people misunderstand the joke, that's my favorite thing in the world. It's always has been. Like if I can get somebody to like fall so hard on their face and totally miss the point, and then try to come for me, like that's what I just lay in bed and giggle about that at night. I think it's so funny. But like, yeah, I get some genuine haters. I get some people talking crap, and it's pretty rare that it ever really gets to me in any type of way. Like every once in a while, somebody will say something that just like gets you just enough that I'll try to get them back.
Oh, I get it. Yeah.
But for the most part, it's just like, yeah, it just comes with the territory. Like people call me fat all the time. Like, they'll ask like, how somebody hikes that much so fat still? And I just laugh, dude, because I know I could hike all those freaking soy boys right into the dirt. I don't even worry about it.
Yeah, I what I'll do now because I used to get really because this is my baby, right? Like it's
Yeah.
my baby, right? And people will go and comment, and most of them the guys have no idea, right? They're morons, right? But I used to get really like fired up about it, right? And go after them. And what I do now is a lot of times I'll just type it out and then I'll delete it.
Yeah. Yeah. I've done that for years, dude.
Because like
Like
I just
I'll
don't,
say the
I'll type
meanest
out this,
shiz.
and then I was like, then I'll delete it, right? Or I'll show my wife and then I'll delete it. You know what I mean? Because like half the time I regret it because I'm like, I don't want to go to that level, right? And one cool
Hmm.
thing is like you probably have this, right? You get people who defend you now. So you don't
Yeah.
have to do it, right? So guys will comment and then they'll just go and hammer them. Like I posted these new tripods the other day, and the guy's like, "Oh, it looks exactly like an RRS, and this looks exactly like the MDT." It's like so different, right?
Right.
But like that's
Yeah.
what people just want to post like crappy stuff, right? Like it's people want
Hmm.
to. It's so weird how tough people are on the internet, right?
Dude, yeah, and I feel like Facebook especially, like it's these people who are never taken seriously in the real world, right?
Facebook's so much worse, isn't it? There's so much meaner on
Yeah,
Facebook.
they
So
are, dude.
much
And it's
meaner on
like it's
Facebook.
all these guys who have no other place to be relevant, right? And so
Mhm.
they like, it's the dude that's just like the low man on the totem pole at his job, and his wife probably freaking doesn't let him pick out his own clothes. And so he goes on Facebook so he can be like the authority somewhere. And
Mhm.
that's who those dudes always are, man. You look them up, and they're just like dying for credibility. They're dying to be the one that like says the thing
Oh,
that
because you
people
click on
listen to.
you click on their profile like I do.
Oh,
Like
sometimes
you're
I go
looking at them,
deep,
you're like
bro.
you're looking at them and like, dude, like I
Mm,
had a kid. Oh, I'll tell the story, but yeah, I had a kid that just kept all the everything I posted. Copy this guy, copy this guy, and I'm just like, dude, there's 20 guys making bino adapters. There's 20
right,
guys making it's a tripod. There's 20 guys making tripods, right?
right.
Nothing original. So finally, I was like, I'm like, he's a real estate agent out of Arizona. Like, I'm just like, finally, I was like, call me, call me.
Yeah,
Here's my number. Call me. And we had like an hour long conversation. And I'm like, dude, like, what is your problem? Well,
yeah,
I just think this. And I'm like, dude, you've never created anything in your life. And I'm like, you're a real estate agent. You're 25 years old. So do you think every other real estate agent, like, you shouldn't be able to do that because everyone else is already doing it? Like, you
yeah.
know what I mean?
Right.
Like, but
Somebody
dude,
else
like,
sold property
somebody else
first.
selling property first. Like, I'm like, do you ever get hounded on for being a new guy? Yeah, all the time. I'm like, how does it make you feel? Because
Yeah, right.
like I'm a real person, dude, and you're just hammering me and I'm paying for these ads, and
Yeah,
like I have to go and like monitor you. I had to I don't do the Facebook anymore. I had to give it to my team. I was like, I can't do this.
yeah,
I'm
dude. You
still
have to
heavily
just stay out of
involved.
it.
I'm still heavily involved in Instagram. Like I don't want to give that up because I have too much fun with it. But
Yeah,
Facebook, I was like, I can't be involved. I'll go on.
nah,
I delete it and then I'll download it like for like a day or two, and then I delete it again, and I let my team do all the messaging and replies back because like
yeah.
they're so mean on Facebook.
Dude, they're so bad. Well, I even saw some on one of your posts. And it was funny, dude, because like I don't know, I had to go after the dude a little bit, but this guy's you posted it was for a tripod. It was like for the BC, and this guy's like, I'm gonna stick with the original. I'm like, the original? Like, do you know Pythagoras? Like, who the hell are you talking about? What's the original tripod? Like, tripods, man, they were like what since the Egyptians? Like,
Yeah,
the original tripod? I don't know. It just cracks me up, dude. And I go down the rabbit hole. I go click through their profiles, and then I start
dude.
sometimes feeling bad too, because
Yeah.
like I'm like, man, screw this guy. Who is this dude? And I go look at his life and be like, I don't want to even make fun of him. He probably gets it enough on the daily. Poor guy.
Yeah, I do that too. Like I'll instantly like if they're going after too much, I'll like look at the profile. Like, oh, you're a firefighter. I'm just like, what am I doing? What am I
Yeah,
doing?
right.
Like, why is this? It's not worth my time. Now what I'll do sometimes is I'll just freaking block you. Like, it's like seriously, if you
Yeah.
want to do it more than once, like some guys will go on like every ad and start posting the same thing. I'll just
Hmm.
block you. I had to block. I've had companies do it to me. I've had like companies in the industry come after me, and I just block the owners because like they're just going to like all my ads and it's hammering me, and I'm getting all fired up, and I'm like, I'm such a smart ass dude. Like I will get you fired up, and I know how to push your buttons, and I'm like, I
Right.
can't keep doing this. This is embarrassing
Right.
for me. Like I need to just like, you're blocked. You know what? Hopefully we don't get in a fist fight at Western Hunt. Like it's just,
Yeah.
you know,
Nobody will say anything in person. That's the thing, man. Like, you'll run into the biggest crap talkers ever, man. And when it's in person, they don't even say a word, man, ever.
well, I have to
I've seen it.
imagine you get pretty because like I know like Rockslide, I have to stay off of there because like my team was like Robbie was like, you need to go and post more on there. You need more involved. Like post your stuff on there, like what you guys are doing, like I do on Facebook, like Instagram, right?
Hmm.
And dude, like every time I post on there, I get so hammered. We're not one
Yeah.
of your flat bill influencers. We're not gonna blah blah.
Oh yeah.
I'm just like, dude, like I'm just trying to share with you what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
how dare you say this? And I'm just like, man, you know what? Like, I'm not even gonna post on here because I can't handle like I'm just trying to share with you what I'm doing. I like
Yeah.
to be an open book, right? Like I post it up. Like you'll never see brands post up like what they're building. I post up like
Right.
CAD drawings, prototypes, all the way through the product. It's never like I'm never like here's a new product. It's just like
Yeah.
I bring you along for the ride, but I can't do that over there because I'm just like all they want to do is talk crap.
Yeah.
It's,
Oh, dude, that's how Rock Slide's like. It's so funny for that. I found threads on there, just posts and posts and posts about me, about other
oh,
people,
I'm
about my
sure
buddies. It's so funny to me. And I'm like, who are these like it's like gossip for older women. Like they're like the old women. Like
it
there's
is.
Facebook's like the sad dads and Rock Slide's like the old women. And I like some of my buddies are diehard Rock Sliders and dude, I love them. And like I like Robbie. I think Robbie's a stud. And I just like it's so funny though some of the conversations that go down over there without even like who are I didn't even know this site like was a thing,
Yeah,
until I
there
started like I don't know being on it.
it's a necessary evil, right? So like, and I hate to say that, like we sponsor it, we pay them a lot of money every month to be
Dude,
on there, but I'm a
there's a lot of
sponsor
guys there.
and I get hammered. I'm like, dude, what am I? I'm a sponsor and I feel like I'm just getting hammered and I'm just like, whatever, man. Like I'm just, it's so,
No,
yeah, it's hard.
it's entertaining, dude, and
It's
that's
entertaining. And I've
undeniable.
actually had them like, so I had a fun time with them because like I like to talk crap. So like I blew my dog up for 4th of July, right?
Yeah, I
Um,
saw that was great.
and a full thread how we should fire our marketing manager.
Yeah.
and I'm like, I'm the market, I'm everything,
I'm
right?
the
Like
owner, bro.
I made this, so I'm just like making all. So they love making memes over there. So I started making all these memes, but like, cause like literally, like I will not do. I nothing against Sitka. I'm not going to do the walk through a stream with an elk on my back thing. I don't
Mhm.
want to do that. That's not my style. Like it's just like it's overplayed, right? Like I want to have fun with what I do. I want to be a SoCal brand, a young brand, and like have fun doing stuff. And I want to blow my dog up. I'll blow my dog up. I don't care,
Yeah,
right? It's just funny.
that's funny,
I
dude.
want to have fun, and so I'm just like picking at them, right? Like red pill, blue pill memes, making just going back and forth with them. So it turned into like an 8-page thread. And in the end, I'm like, look, I won. You
Yeah,
haven't posted one, you haven't talked about one ad from any other brand except for Tricer, and we have 8 pages of it. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
that ad worked. I'm a
yeah,
marketing genius.
100%. Yeah.
In my mind, I'm like, I'm a marketing genius. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, well, attention wins, dude, and that's the sad reality of this world is attention wins, and like even negative attention wins. So it's part of the world that we're all in, and like whether people want to admit it or not, like we're in advertising.
yeah.
That's what so much of what we do is. That's what I do. I'm in advertising.
Mhm.
Like there's jokes along the way. There's definitely hunting, but that's what I do for a living.
I have to imagine like being tied to, like, I don't want to say you're tied to Hushin, but you're involved with Hushin. Like
Mhm.
they get a lot of flack too. Like
Oh, tons.
that probably gets you
Yeah.
hammered.
Well, it's like I get madder about it than they do for sure. Like Eric, he's one of my best friends in the world, so like I'd go to war for that kid. Like he doesn't care. Like he's out there doing his thing, whistling. He'll look at it, chuckle, and I'm getting mad. I'll get mad, way mad on his behalf because I know like he's such a freaking good dude. He's
Yeah.
such a good dude, and these people have all these preconceived notions and ideas, and they make up all this stuff, and they like this stuff that they assume that he is, and I just am like you just these dorks have no idea. They have no idea.
I've had a few of those in my life too. Like I got to meet Eric, and Eric's super cool. Like we talk on the phone
Yeah,
now. Like I'm really hoping I can go shed. I'm trying to weasel my way into a shed hunt with him. I don't know if he's into it, but I've never shed
you
hunted him
probably take
before.
it.
I've never shed hunted him before, so I want to go actually and do it.
Yeah,
Um, but like, dude, like I got to meet like Josh Jones from Podium Archery. He's got a big
mhm,
mohawk, right? Like
yeah,
the nicest guy in the world. The night, dude. Like I watched that guy fix like 3 blown up bows. Like stop what he was doing. Like helping kids learn how. Like, dude, the coolest guy in the world. But you see him online, you're like this guy's got a freaking mohawk. You know,
yeah. He's a douche. Yep.
he's like, even like Bomar, like I got to meet Bomar, just like a down to earth dude that just talks. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
everyone just hates this guy. Like it's
Yeah.
hard to be like, and that's what I'm trying to do with my YouTube a little bit. Is kind of like be an open book, like kind of like this is who I am, so you can understand who I. But like, it's really hard to know somebody unless you meet them in person, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, people are making assumptions based off what they see on the internet, and like, and if I like only judged people off of those personalities, like I'd have my ideas too. And it's like it really is a symptom. Like you have like if you have 100,000 people that like you, there's going to be like 5,000 that don't, and
Mhm.
those people are going to be really loud, and it's going to be the same 5,000 people that don't like everybody else. So it's like if you like hate somebody and that's your opinion, that's fine. If you hate everybody, then I don't take you very seriously. You know what I mean? It's the same thousand dudes piping off about everybody, and so it's like, oh, that's just your personality is to kind of like just be a hater and a shit talker, and that's fine. Do your thing.
I think on the internet too, it's fun to be that guy, right? It's
Oh,
fun to
for
be like
sure. I've
tough
been
guy on
that
the
guy.
internet, like the guy on
Yeah.
the internet, right? Like you said, like in person, like hey, go ahead and like I've been around you. You're a big dude. Like no
Yeah.
one's gonna come up to you and talk about to you.
No, not usually. No.
You know, they're not gonna be able to bend and be like, oh yeah, you shit hunting. You know,
Yeah.
no. So
But yeah.
you've made a career out of shed hunting. I've never done it. Like the only time I did find a matching set of coos sheds in New Mexico. Sure, that was sick. That wasn't on purpose though.
Sweet.
I was looking for the pig that I wounded and never found. I shot a pig in the middle of the desert, like crazy.
Like a
Um,
pig?
like a wild boar in the middle of the desert, dude. Like it was, no one even knew they were there.
Huh.
It was
That's
pretty
cool.
sick on a deer hunt. But I did like spend like a couple hours like shed hunting deliberately. Found some sheds in Mexico this year. Um, how'd you get into shed hunting?
So a lot of it was my brother-in-laws were really into it. So my sister married a guy, and he and his brothers had been going to Arizona to shed hunt since like the early '90s, and they were just way into it. And they started inviting me to go with them a little bit, and like I started going with them when I was like 16 years old, and just started realizing like this is a type of hunting I can do year round. I can do it without
Mhm.
having to buy a tag, like I can do it for
In the
cheap.
best units in the world.
Right. And that's it. I can go experience these primo units, pick up big sheds off animals that like tags I'm never going to draw, and go learn these units and spend time in these places. And when I got really geeked out on it though, like was when I realized like I can sell an elk antler for $100. Like, oh, I can actually like make enough money to cover my fuel now. Like I can be cash positive on this thing that I love to do anyway.
Mhm.
So that was a lot of it for me, was when I started like realizing there was a little cash to be made, but also I could go do this thing which I loved. Like it was just a win-win.
So you still are like subsidizing a lot of your income with sheds or no?
Not so much anymore, and that's just because the way I've done it, like it just kind of changes over time. Like it used to be, like full disclosure, it used to be easier to find elk sheds. You know, it's become popular, and that's part of the game that I mean, knowingly we're playing. But
Is that Hushin's fault?
yeah, that's their fault. That's not my
Okay.
fault for sure. Yeah, it's Eric's fault. Couldn't be me, you know. Um, yeah, it's just tougher. It's tougher now, but I do sell my sheds that I find every year, and some years it'll be more, some years it'll be less, just depending on the winter we had and the year and the sheds we found. And like lately, I've been targeting whitetails more, and they're just not valuable. It's just, if I'm targeting elk and going hard on the elk, then it'll be a decent chunk of cash every year.
And you're always looking for like wintering grounds, that kind of thing.
hmm Yeah, after a while, you just kind of know what that country looks like. You still
Okay.
get surprised sometimes, and you'll find somewhere weird where the bulls stayed, and there'll be sheds there. And but just generally, like I kind of grew up in the desert, kind of know the desert the best: Arizona, Nevada, southern Utah, and I can just now with the amount of time I've been doing it, just go out to an area and be like, oh, they're going to be in that face or this elevation or
Really?
this feed type or something like that.
Are you like using layers and like e-scout in that, or you just kind of go to the same areas every year now?
I do. I e-scout it. Like if I'm looking for new stuff, we're always e-scouting and figuring out
Really?
access in the wilderness or elevations, south faces, whatever it might be. I do a lot on X, and then we use Google Earth a little bit too, just for some more detailed satellite imagery, but mostly on X.
Are you backpacking for these things
Yeah, yeah, and not always, but like there's a few trips that we do every year where it's like legit backcountry, multiple nights.
and just bringing out a pile of antlers?
Sometimes we're bringing out nothing. It just depends. Like it's not always a big score. Like the goal is to load up and come out heavy, but I mean sometimes you have to leave them there because you find too many.
Really? Yeah, I'm hoping when we go to Mexico this year, we're hunting Sonora together in January, and this ranch hasn't been hunted in 4 years. We're gonna find some sheds.
Dude, yeah, well, I hope so. I hope I love coos sheds, dude. I geek out over those little whitetail antlers, but
Yeah, they're cool.
hopefully there's some muleys too. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I don't know. Weird thing is like coos deer and mule deer don't really like cross too much,
hmm
which I always say that. And then I went to freaking New Mexico this year, and it was like a very drastic, like the mule deer were in this like flat, and then like right here would be coos deer, like literally like
hmm
100-foot elevation difference. But I did see a couple of coos deer does running with some mule deer buck does, which was kind of like different for me to see. But
Yeah.
it is like down to Mexico, they are very like the mule deer are down here in the desert ranches, and then the coos deer are up here in the coos deer mountains, right? And then like even like
hmm
Cade's desert ranch that we hunt, they've only seen one coos buck or one mule deer buck in like 20 years on this ranch.
Hmm.
But I think it's so strange.
Yeah. See, we
Like,
hunted one last year down there that had both.
really?
And they were in different places, like, but not. I mean, they were probably in the same canyon, like the mule deer would be a little bit lower down and the
Mm-hmm.
coos a little higher up. But in one spot we shot at a big old muley buck, and when we shot at him, a giant coos jumped out of the same canyon.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I don't know. I've seen him in Arizona where, well, one time I saw a coos buck that was trying to breed muley does down on the flat.
Yeah, they say the world record is a hybrid, but they can't prove it because it's like 50 years old. The world record's like a 189 or something like that. Came out of Arizona, and they say
Yeah.
it's definitely a hybrid now, but they can't prove it.
So that's funny because me and my brother Googled that buck yesterday. We were talking
Did you
about
really?
this. Yeah, it's off Mount Graham in southern Arizona. It's 196-inch coos
196.
deer. But I don't know, man. Looks like a whitetail to me. Like it has a white tail. Like I know that they can't like DNA test it maybe, but I can't remember how that is that they decide that. Like I think a hybrid still counts as a coos, but I'm not sure.
Not anymore.
They did change it.
They changed it now, yeah. But they did just
Hmm.
add in javelinas, which I think is really weird.
Dude, that's a new cash crop for Texas. Let's go.
Boone and
High fence
Crockett.
javelinas. Let's get
Dude,
it.
yeah, they'll probably end up being like odd out. It'll end up being $5,000 a hunt a javelina now.
Dude, probably.
It's
But
so
it's the
dumb.
internet that ruined everything, not Boone and Crockett.
It is the internet that ruined everything. That is the funniest thing with the influencer thing too. Is it's like, oh, you ruined the like Randy Newberg single handedly ruined Arizona,
Yeah, the whole state.
whole state. Randy ruined that. You know everything. You know
Hmm.
you guys ruined shed hunting. It's funny,
Yeah.
man. I
Yeah, it's
like
weird. It's like it's all ruined, but how do we still keep finding sheds and killing elk? It's like,
yeah, exactly. So if you're in it for money, you don't want to find Coos deer sheds. You want to find elk
no, I
sheds.
mean they're definitely for the cool factor. Like I'm only hunting elk sheds if I'm look, and I'm like I'm in it for money, but I wouldn't do it if I didn't think they were awesome. You know what I mean? Because it's not that cost effective, but it's just a bonus that I can sell them.
So when you say $100 for an elk shed, is that like a 5x5 shed or like is that like a big 350-inch shed?
Brown elk right now is $15 a pound, so you're just talking like a 7 pound antler if it's fresh brown.
So what's a 7 pound antler?
It depends where you're at. I mean, in Utah, it could be a small 5, 6 point. In
It's like a 300
Arizona,
inch, 300-inch
yeah,
bull, 280
yeah,
inch bull.
yeah, and you in Utah, like you can get these heavy bulls where 300-inch bulls weighs 9 pounds.
Really?
So yeah, in Arizona, they're lighter weight. It seems like I found like one of my biggest elk sheds ever, like off of a half of a like 380 bull in Arizona, weighed 6.5 pounds.
Really?
Yeah, it was so frustrating when I picked it up. I'm like, what is this crap? It weighs nothing.
Well, dude, like they break off so fast down there too. Like I shot a bull down there, and it's a 5x5 bull, but it's like a 3x2.
Yeah,
Just
they're always late season, just
so
tore up.
broken up, dude. And so those are just getting. You're just buying them, and they're going to China, right? I mean, that's where they're going.
Yeah, a lot of them are, but a lot of them stay in the states now and go to dog chews. There's a huge market now for pet anything, so I know the guy that I sell to typically has a good chunk going to dog chews.
And my buddy was asking me, this is off topic. He's like, I want to start a business. I want to do e-commerce like you're doing. And like, what should I do? I was like, dude, honestly, I would do dogs. People spend stupid money on their dogs.
Right? Yeah,
Like,
I
I
think
know people
pet
hate.
anything. It's
I
crazy.
hate this, but it's like it's just a freaking dog. You know, I don't know.
Hmm.
It's so weird. Like, I mean, my dogs are all in the house. Like, they, you know, when I was a kid, like my dog never came in the house. Like, I don't know about you
No.
guys, but like, dude, my dog
Mm-mm.
was outside. Like, he lived outside. He had a dog house outside. That was it. Now my dog's like, I get up and like lay on the couch looking at me like, what? You know,
Yeah, it's like this is my house, bro.
times have
Yeah,
changed.
our dog's in the house very rarely. Like, but she started out as just like a floofy inside dog, but she like moved outside. She wants to be outside, so she can stay outside.
Yeah. My poodles, he's high maintenance, dude. He's just laying in bed with me. He's getting picked up right now. He's gonna look like a little girl. He's got done to the groomers. That's a
Yeah.
fun pod, dude. We always wrap these things up with a hunting story. So I'm sure you got a couple of those. You got a hunting story?
Yeah, man, I have a few. Yeah, I got a lot. I have a pretty good one that I could tell that happened to me last year that I never made a video about or really told anybody about. Um, it's kind
Yeah.
of a sad story, but yeah. So I had this over the counter tag last year, Arizona archery, and it's been my goal for years to kill a coos deer out of a tree. Like I want to shoot one out of a tree stand or a tree saddle or something.
Hmm.
So I found this spot, southern Arizona, that had these big creek bottoms, and there was coos deer just rutting does up and down these creek bottoms. And I camped out there, popped up the GFC, and I stayed there for a few days. And I just found a tree. Like these trees are like most of them are not good saddle trees. Like they're those oaks
Yeah.
that have trunks going everywhere and they're skinny. And I found these two that were close together, so I could hang my tree saddle off the one tree and have my platform on the other tree. And I was like 8 feet off the ground. I'm like, hey, this is gonna have to work. This is gonna have to be it. So I got in the tree, and the very first day I was in the tree, I had like 20 deer walk under me. Had some bucks come by me out of range and stuff, but like I knew I was in a little honey hole. And the second day I was in a tree, this buck just cruised 15 yards underneath me, big old heavy coos buck, and he was only a 2 point, but mature, heavy, like a good deer. And he walked by me at 15 yards, drew my bow, and put my pin on him. Boom, shot, and just smoked him right behind the shoulder. And he was kind of quartered away when I hit him. So I could have either been, maybe I missed in front of this one lung or maybe not. I thought I got both lungs when I shot. And he ran out to 65 yards, and he was standing there, and I looked through my binoculars, and he's bleeding out of his nose, bleeding out of the exit hole. I'm like, this deer is absolutely toast. Like he's going to die. And so watching my binoculars, and like 1 or 2 minutes later, I hear this weird, like this high pitched beep. And I'm like, what the heck? Like it's like this beeping noise. And then out of nowhere, this bird dog, like a Brittany, runs
No.
underneath my tree stand. and it stops where the deer was and smells. And I was kind of like, hey, like that. And the deer, like, or the bird dog locks onto that deer standing like 60 something yards away from my stand and just takes off after this deer. The deer tail up. I mean, it was laying there. It was standing there dying. It was on its feet, and it just runs down the canyon full speed. And I'm like, what the heck just happened? Dog runs after it. And I'm just like in shock. And then maybe 2 or 3 minutes later, a guy walks by me and he's toning the dog. And that's what I heard was the beep on the dog's collar. He's trying to get the dog to come back, but he's like 100 yards to my right, you know? And he goes down the wash, and I just like stood there. I'm like, what the heck just happened? Like, I was pretty sure I just killed this deer. And so I got out of the tree, went to where the deer was standing, the big pile of blood, foam, everything in it, and no deer, obviously. I got on its blood trail and I followed it. I tracked it about 200 yards and ran out of blood, and just started zigzagging. And like, it's that tall cactus mixed with cholla, and then there's oaks, and there's like 2 foot tall yellow grass. And I looked for
So
that
hard to find
deer,
that deer.
dude, everywhere, gridded back and forth all over. I thought I found one little smear of blood down on the edge of some private property. Like, it could have gone in there, but I looked for it for 4 days and I never could see hide nor hair of that deer. It was such a weird situation, and it happened so fast. It was just like, just lousy. And so now I have to go down and try to get some redemption because I did not end up killing a deer. So.
Bummer, man. That's a good story. It's weird how like you can sit there for 4 days, right, and no dog comes by. Then like that's when the dog comes by.
Right. I
Right.
figured it must have pushed that deer to me. Like, that's why, because it came on, it wasn't on a trail at
Oh
all.
yeah.
Like, I figured they bumped the deer to me. That's why I got an opportunity in the first place. But yeah, here comes the dog right after. And it was just, it was like a bad dream, dude. It was like a nightmare, like something you would dream up. But anyway, that happened to me in Arizona. Like, my first archery coos deer is rotted away somewhere out there.
But you do have a 102, right?
Yeah, it's a rifle buck.
Rifle buck.
It counts. Definitely counts. I think coos deer were made to be shot with a rifle, dude. It's so
Oh,
fun.
they're so freaking hard to hunt. Like with a bow, I think Boone and Croc. I think no, Pope and Young is like 70 inches.
Yeah,
It's so small. It's
yeah.
like,
I've missed several. Did Rocky tell you about his coos when he was on?
uh,
Yeah,
uh,
Rocky, I think has the best coos story ever. Like, and I'll tell it because he's not here.
yeah, go
My
for
little
it.
brother. Yeah, but anyway, it's short. But like, literally killed the first coos buck he ever put a stock on, and it was like such bull crap, dude. Because I've been hunting him down there for years. I've missed him. I've had chances at him. I tried him, whatever. Like, we went down there, glassed up like a big fork and then a 3-point coos deer, and he's like, "Well, I'll go try him." 4 hours later, he stuck that deer at like 21 yards, and the rest
No,
was
cruise hunting's
history.
easy.
I'm like, dude, come on, man. But maybe he'd stalked him before, but it was like the first day that we were there, he killed this buck. And
They're my favorite, man. I'm excited to go to Mexico with you. I'm gonna shoot a big
dude,
one. That's my goal.
yeah,
Kill
I'm
some big
stoked,
deer.
man. Yeah, Mexico's gonna be rad.
So I'm excited for the food too. Just getting some old
Oh,
Mexican
bro,
lady, dude, just cooking us food over a tire and just like, oh, that's what I want. I want like just carne asada and beans and fresh tortillas and just, dude,
dude,
that's
let's go.
the coyotes chirping out there and just no
Mm-hmm.
planes. It's gonna be that's the thing for me is the experience. It's just so nice. It's like the Wild West, literally. So,
Yeah.
dude, how can we help you out? Where can we find you? What do you got going on?
So everything I do is under Shed Crazy, my YouTube channel, Shed Crazy. I think it's Shed Crazy Official, but if you search Shed Crazy, you'll find me. Yeah, same with Facebook. I kind of everything I post on Instagram just goes up over there, and then
Mm-hmm.
Instagram is Shed Crazy. So, yeah, I mean, sell a couple hats and a couple shirts, and it's kind of my gig, and I got a Tricer code too. So if you're gonna buy anything from Tricer, use code Shed Crazy. Save yourself
Use
some
code Shed
cash.
Crazy, save 10%. We
Mm-hmm.
don't do discounts. We only do affiliate discounts. We only do discounts like 4 times a year now. So if you want to buy
Yeah,
something and get a discount, you listen to this whole podcast hour through, use code
you
Shed
earn,
Crazy. You'll save 10% year round.
yeah, you earned it.
You earned it. So thanks, bro. Let's do it again.
Yeah, man. Thank you.